Hello fellas. Welcome back to Top 5 Choices. This is Haley from Top 5 Choices, and I hope you all are doing good. In today's video, I am going to do a detailed review and pick the top 5 best Google Pixel phones, 2022. After doing proper researches, we came to the conclusion that meets the best in terms of overall. Kindly leave a like if you find this helpful, and I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications if you haven't. We will be also providing affiliates link to purchase from Amazon. Kindly use it for best offers and purchase from anywhere in the world. We'll be back with more videos. There's something very likable about the Google Pixel 4a's design. It's not flashy or in your face, in fact it's the exact opposite, and yet it looks attractive. Google has used a unibody polycarbonate shell with a soft touch matte finish. It looks nice and doesn't attract fingerprints. The Pixel 4 is relatively slim at 8.2mm and really light, at just 143g. The overall compact dimensions of the body and the rounded edges make it a very comfortable phone to handle. The volume and power buttons are placed on the right, and offer good tactile feedback. There's a headphone jack on the top, a tray for a single nano SIM on the left, and the speaker and USB Type-C port on the bottom. The Google Pixel 4 only accepts a single physical SIM, but it does support an additional eSIM. Google has thankfully ditched the massive bezel of the previous generation for much narrower ones on the Pixel 4a. The borders are still a bit thick, but they're more or less even all around the display. You get a hole punch cutout for the selfie camera. The display is a bit larger than that of the Pixel 3a, measuring 5.8 inches diagonally. It's an OLED panel with a full HD Plus resolution. It supports HDR10 playback and is made using Gorilla Glass 3 for scratch protection. One feature that's missing, compared to last year's model, is the Active Edge sensors. On previous Pixel phones, you used to be able to activate Google Assistant by squeezing the pressure-sensitive side panels. On the other hand, Google has kept the Now Playing feature, which automatically recognizes songs being played in the background and displays the title and artist on your lock screen or always on display. The Google Pixel 4 uses the Qualcomm Snapdragon 730G SoC, which is not the most powerful SoC you'll find in phones at this price, but is good enough. There's 6GB of LPDDR4X RAM and 128GB of storage, which again, are fairly adequate. The Pixel 4 supports 4G VoLTE, dual-band Wi-Fi AC, Bluetooth 5, NFC, and 4 satellite navigation systems. There's no wireless charging or IP rating, but you do get stereo speakers. The Pixel 4 also features Google's Titan M security hardware for biometric authentication and other security-related functions. Google is pretty proud of the Pixel 5a's display, calling it the biggest one ever on a bezel-less Pixel, which covers the Pixel 4a for a 5G and 5. At 6.43 inches, the full HD OLED screen on the Pixel 5a is vibrant and bright. It's not the most impressive panel we've ever seen, but it's very good all the same, especially at this price. One thing I really appreciate is how easily I can see what's on the display when I'm out in direct sunlight. When I was out wandering around to capture photos for this Pixel 5a review, I found myself surprised and impressed because I could see the photos I'd just taken. Normally, I have to find shade to see the photos clearly enough. Not so with the 5a, and not every phone that crosses my desk can claim that. Like the rest of the phone, the Pixel 5a's display gets the job done. Neither awful nor amazing, the screen is average in the best kind of way. One area that has definitely improved over the Pixel 4 is the viewing angles. With the 4a, you'd start to notice distortion pretty quickly when viewing the phone from an off angle. I ran into no such problem with the Pixel 5a. In fact, the display has fantastic viewing angles and little visible distortion until you get to closer to 180 degrees, as you do with most phones. Once you go with an OLED screen, it's hard to go back to LCDs on a phone. That comes down to how deep the blacks get, which lends itself to a sense of foreboding and dread in dark games like Limbo, or adding stark contrast to the harsh orange scenes in Blade Runner 2049. Even Genshin Impact, with its anime-style graphics, or Dead Cells pixel art look amazing on the Pixel 5a. The resolution is just crisp enough to make nature photos almost look like you're actually there, too. Even something as mundane as a YouTube video or sports clip looks great on this display. The biggest highlight with the Pixel 5 of this year is the addition of the 16MP, 117-degree ultra-wide camera, which joins the primary 12.2MP shooter. Last year's Pixel 4a only had the single 12.2MP camera. Up front, the Pixel 5a's 8MP selfie cam sits nestled in the top left corner of the display in a hole punch cutout. The night modes differ greatly between the two phones, mostly because the iPhone SE doesn't have one. This remains a strange omission on Apple's part, but the Pixel 5a features Google's excellent night sight. You can see how well the 5a handled the smoker at night, producing a clear image with plenty of detail. The smoker is still visible in the iPhone SE's photo, but it's harder to see. Google Pixel 5 Mobile was launched on September 30, 2020. The phone comes with a 6.00-inch touchscreen display with a resolution of 1080 by 2340 pixels at a pixel density of 432 pixels per inch, ppi, and an aspect ratio of 19.5:9. Google Pixel 5 is powered by a 1.8 GHz octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G processor. It comes with 8 GB of RAM. The Google Pixel 5 runs Android 11 and is powered by a 4080 mAh non-removable battery. The Google Pixel 5 supports wireless charging, as well as proprietary fast charging. As far as the cameras are concerned, the Google Pixel 5 on the rear packs a 12.2-megapixel primary camera with an f/1.7 aperture and a pixel size of 1.4 micron, and a 16-megapixel camera with an f/2.2 aperture and a pixel size of 1.0 micron. The rear camera setup has phase detection autofocus. It sports an 8-megapixel camera on the front for selfies with an f/2.0 aperture and a pixel size of 1.12 micron. Google Pixel 5 is based on Android 11 and packs 128 GB of inbuilt storage. The Google Pixel 5 is a dual SIM, GSM and GSM mobile that accepts nano SIM and eSIM cards. The Google Pixel 5 measures 144.70 by 70.40 by 8 mm, height x width x thickness, and weighs 151.00 grams. It was launched in just black and sorta sage colors. It features an IP68 rating for dust and water protection. Connectivity options on the Google Pixel 5 include Wi-Fi 802.11s/b/g/n/ac, GPS, Bluetooth V5.00, NFC, USB Type-C, 3G, and 4G, with support for Band 40 used by some LTE networks in India. Sensors on the phone include accelerometer, ambient light sensor, barometer, compass/magnetometer, gyroscope, proximity sensor, and fingerprint sensor. Google Pixel 6 Mobile was launched on October 19, 2021. The phone comes with a 6.40-inch touchscreen display with a resolution of 1080 by 2400 pixels at a pixel density of 411 pixels per inch, ppi, and an aspect ratio of 20:9. Google Pixel 6 is powered by a 2.8 GHz octa-core Google Tensor processor that features 2 cores clocked at 2.8 GHz and 2 cores clocked at 2.25 GHz. It comes with 8 GB of RAM. The Google Pixel 6 runs Android 12 and is powered by a 4614 mAh battery. The Google Pixel 6 supports wireless charging, as well as proprietary fast charging. As far as the cameras are concerned, the Google Pixel 6 on the rear packs a dual camera setup featuring a 50-megapixel primary camera with an f/1.85 aperture and a pixel size of 1.2 micron, and a 12-megapixel camera with an f/2.2 aperture and a pixel size of 1.25 micron. The rear camera setup has autofocus. It has a single front camera setup for selfies, featuring an 8-megapixel sensor with an f/2.0 aperture and a pixel size of 1.12 micron. Google Pixel 6 is based on Android 12 and packs 128 GB of inbuilt storage. The Google Pixel 6 is a dual SIM, GSM and GSM mobile that accepts nano SIM and eSIM cards. The Google Pixel 6 measures 158.60 by 74.80 by 8.90 mm, height x width x thickness, and weighs 207.00 grams. It was launched in kinda coral, sorta seafoam, and stormy black colors. It features an IP68 rating for dust and water protection. Google Pixel 6 Pro Mobile was launched on October 19, 2021. The phone comes with a 6.70-inch touchscreen display with a resolution of 1440 by 3120 pixels at a pixel density of 512 pixels per inch, ppi, and an aspect ratio of 19.5:9. Google Pixel 6 Pro is powered by a 2.8 GHz octa-core Google Tensor processor that features 2 cores clocked at 2.8 GHz and 2 cores clocked at 2.25 GHz. It comes with 12 GB of RAM. The Google Pixel 6 Pro runs Android 12 and is powered by a 5003 mAh battery. The Google Pixel 6 Pro supports wireless charging, as well as proprietary fast charging. As far as the cameras are concerned, the Google Pixel 6 Pro on the rear packs a triple camera setup featuring a 50-megapixel primary camera with an f/1.85 aperture and a pixel size of 1.2 micron, a 12-megapixel camera with an f/2.2 aperture and a pixel size of 1.25 micron, and a 48-megapixel camera with an f/3.5 aperture and a pixel size of 0.8 micron. The rear camera setup has autofocus. It has a single front camera setup for selfies, featuring an 11.1 megapixel sensor with an f/2.2 aperture and a pixel size of 1.22 micron. Google Pixel 6 Pro is based on Android 12 and packs 128 GB of inbuilt storage. The Google Pixel 6 Pro is a dual SIM, GSM and GSM, mobile that accepts nano SIM and eSIM cards. The Google Pixel 6 Pro measures 163.90 by 75.90 by 8.90 mm, height x width x thickness, and weighs 210.00 grams. It was launched in cloudy white, sorta sunny, and stormy black colors. Sensors on the phone include accelerometer, ambient light sensor, barometer, compass/magnetometer, gyroscope, in-display fingerprint sensor, proximity sensor, and fingerprint sensor.